Hi guys, it's time again, cooking with Keziah. Thursday the 3rd of December, and we're on a trip around the world. Last week we were in Sri Lanka, and today we've left the Far East and we will be in Europe today, in Italy. And the dish we'll be making today is baked meatballs. And the ingredients that is needed for this dish is mini meatballs, onions, red peppers, some gnocchi, which is like potato balls, 1 teaspoon of garlic, 1 teaspoon of mama jam, and 1 teaspoon of mixed herb, which we'll be cooking with some olive oil and then be baking in this tomato sauce, which is chopped tomatoes blended with, plum tomatoes blended with onions. So the oil is heated up and we're just waiting for it to be hot enough to start. And towards the end of the baking of this meatball, we'll be topping it up with some grated cheese. Okay, so Keziah, you can begin by putting your meatballs in the pan. We're cooking the meatballs first to seal the flavour in and to get rid of the oil, because meatballs can be quite oily. So once we've sealed the flavours in, Keziah will be draining the oil off the meatballs, or we'll be taking the meatballs out of the oil and putting it to the sauce. So we'll leave most of the grease in the pan. But as I said, we're using olive oil, so it's the healthy option. So we'll fry these for about 5 minutes until they're just a bit brown and sealed. Okay, so the meatballs have been browned, and now Keziah is going to add some sliced onions to the pan. We'll do this for 2 minutes just to seal in the flavour, the onions, and then followed by the chopped red peppers. There you are. Give it a stir, Keziah. And then we cook this for 2 minutes, just to seal in the flavour in the meatballs. The onions has been softened, and now Keziah will have 1 teaspoon of garlic, 1 teaspoon of mama jam, and 1 teaspoon of mixed herb to the pan. Give it a stir, Keziah. Now the herbs have been in and they've cooked for a minute. Now Keziah will have the gnocchi to the pan, which is just potato balls, classic Italian staple. Put that to the pan, give it a good stir, and we only stir this in for a minute to soak in the flavours before we add it to the chopped tomato sauce. Okay, so all the ingredients are in the pan. The gnocchi has been sealed with all the herbs and spices, and now Keziah will transfer it from the frying pan into the oven-proof dish with the sauce for it to be baked. Keziah, start transferring your gnocchi. There we are. So all the stovetop ingredients are now in the casserole oven-proof dish with the sauce. Now Keziah will transfer it to the oven, gas mark 6, and we'll cook it between 35 to 40 minutes. But in about 30 minutes, we'll be topping it up the cheese, the grated cheese, along with some parmesan on top of it. But first, we'll cook it for 30 minutes. Keziah, the oven has been preheated, and it's nice and hot. There you are, Keziah. This is a quick and easy one-pot dish. So the gnocchi and the meatballs followed by the cheese. That's dinner sorted. No big messing about. 35, Keziah. 30 minutes first, because we need to have the cheese. There we are. So we'll check in 30 minutes to have the cheese. So that's it. So whilst that's cooking, Keziah will clear away her workspace. Right, so the baked meatballs has cooked for 30 minutes. And now we just took it out and Keziah's give it a stir. And now she's going to add the grated cheese, sprinkle it all over the top of the baked meatballs. Yeah, Keziah, your grated cheese. We're using mild cheddar. You can use any sort of cheddar or mozzarella, but we're using mild cheddar. There you are, Keziah. Okay, cheese has been sprinkled on. And now we're going to top the grated cheese with a sprinkling of parmesan. Keziah? Yeah. There we are. And now it's going to be topped off by a dusting of black pepper. There you are, Keziah. Okay, so the cheese has been put in on the meatball bake, followed with some black pepper, and now Keziah will return it to the oven for 10 minutes. So, Keziah, back into the oven, 10 minutes. Cloth.
Thank you.
Okay, so 10 minutes, Keziah, and then it shall be done. Okay, so we've got another 10 minutes cooking time, and then our meatball bake, our baked meatballs will be done. Okay, Keziah's baked meatballs is finished. It's now out of the oven, and Keziah is ready to dish it up. Okay, Keziah, you can start with your dishing up. Okay, guys, this is the result of our trip to Italy today. Baked meatballs with gnocchi served with garlic and parmesan bread. Keziah, you've done an excellent job on our trip to Italy this week. Well, who knows where we'll be going next week on our trip around the world. So, quick and easy, one pot dish in the oven, cooked within 45 minutes. So cooking and prepping takes an hour, or less than an hour really, but the result is amazing. So now all we need to do is add some salt and pepper. If you've noticed, we don't really cook with salt, but we had salt to taste once the meal is finished. So until next week, thank you for watching Cooking with Keziah, our trip around the world. And today we were in Italy. Until next week, ciao.